Here we go. 9:17, Mark Klein hanging out with you. You've heard me mention this before for years now. And we do ticket giveaways for this thing every year. We're going to stay pretty consistent with that today. I'm looking forward to sharing with you an incredible story about a band, the world's largest 70-plus piece rock band. They play once a year. Long Island's finest, and some musicians from out of state, if I'm not mistaken, and we're going to get to that in a second. I need to introduce you all to the founder and creator of this project from 38 plus years ago when this thing began. He plays saxophone currently with the Stanton Anderson Band. He did 30 years with the Jim Small Band. He's a retired music teacher after 21 years here on Long Island, and he's an all-around good guy. In the studio with me right now, the founder and creator of The Paper Bag, Mr. Mike Guido. How you doing, Mike?
Good morning, Mark. I'm doing very well.
Welcome to the Friday Morning Blues Warehouse. It's good to have you in here with me.
Thank you very much.
You've got some massive history, and you're a tremendous contributor to the live music scene here on Long Island on so many levels. I want to start with some history with you if I can. Let's talk about, I don't know, let's start real quick with like elementary school and junior high days when you first started getting introduced to the horn. You play the whole horn family, don't you?
I was a middle school band teacher for 21 years. I play everything they play.
But let's rewind. Let's talk about when you were at that age, when you were a student.
I started playing the clarinet when I was 8 years old. My teacher was Mr. Clinton.
You remember your teacher?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
What was the influence to play the horn at that early age? Anybody in your family played back in those days?
No, nobody played. I don't remember why. I think I played the recorder. We called it a tonette then.
Sure.
And I was good at that. I played the tonette in my school show when I was in 3rd grade. It was my first public performance. I was dressed as a mouse. And it just was, it's what you did. You went to summer band and then school band.
Do you have any pictures of that uniform, that outfit?
Yes, I do, as a matter of fact.
You know, because what's funny is, as everybody knows, especially in this whole Facebook thing that we're all glued to, this great social networking tool we love to use, Thursdays being Throwback Thursday. Once in a while I see you posting a picture of yourself from, I don't know, a few decades ago. Clean shaven, short hair. These interesting, well, you've put up a few.
You know.
Any chance you digging up that picture and sharing that with everybody? Oh, you're going to share it with me right now.
There you go.
Oh, wow. Wow. Very cool, man.
And notice what's in the picture to my left, up on the stage.
It's a little dark. I'm having trouble making it out.
There's a paper bag in there.
Oh my God! There's a paper bag in there. That's really funny, man. That's interesting that happens to be there, because obviously that paper bag is in there way before the thought of starting a paper bag project ever came to mind. Am I right?
I would say yes. That's
a safe
an accurate statement. Yes.
Let's fast forward to I guess 38 years ago, man. Let's talk about when this paper bag project, this massive, larger-than-life project you started 38 years ago. How did you get this idea, and how many players were a part of it in the first couple of years?
It wasn't initially. It wasn't an idea to do a lifelong show. I used to do sound at a festival upstate called the People's Picnic every year. It was on private land near Whitehall, New York. And I was always in a band, and my band played. And then one year, we went to the festival, and I wasn't in a band. But I still wanted to play. So I got the idea. I was the head sound engineer for the festival. So I got the idea that on the last night, I'd have everybody in my band. Seems like a good idea.
How many piece band was it at the time?
It was 18 guys.
Okay.
You know, and we all got up there, and we played for about an hour. Just a couple of songs, and we used this music called The Paper Bag, which was from a band I was in the early 70s called the Phil Gagliano Band, named after the baseball player, which is another story.
Okay.
But and we 18 guys went up there. We played for about an hour, and we had so much fun that a month later, I was also the sound engineer at the Silver Dollar Saloon in Bayshore at the time. So a month later, we did it again at the Silver Dollar, and then once a year since then. So that was 1979.
79. 1979. I gotta write that down.
And so we did 2 the first year. We've done 1 every year since. And it's grown all by itself. I don't mess with it. The paper bag is like a pyramid on its point. It's a big, huge, heavy thing, but it's balanced very precariously. And I'm afraid if I touch it, it'll fall down.
Yeah, you definitely don't want to mess with it. It ain't broke, don't fix it.
So I allow it to grow and shrink and evolve on its own level.
So in '79, when this thing started, let's talk about after the first 2 or 3 years. You had 18 guys the first year?
18 the first year.
I mean, you have like over 80 now, well over 80 today.
Yeah. This year, as of right now today, we have 70, exactly 70 musicians.
Oh, there's 70 on the button.
70 on the button. I can give you a little rundown here. We have.
We don't read all 70 guys.
No. We have, of course, me. I'm our founder. There's a Tony Rome and his cheese calzones.
Oh, sure.
Which are some vocalists. There are also 14 vocalists, 16 guitars, 5 keyboards, 7 horn players, a harmonica section, 4 guys, 5 bass players, and 10 percussionists. That's our band.
Between drums and actual percussion.
Well, we just have a huge drum riser with everything, including kitchen sinks.
You got a few drum kits on the stage.
A couple of drum kits, congas, bongos,
Few percussion
shakers.
stations.
There's usually about then all kinds of people show up on the drum riser, banging on stuff. There's usually a dozen or so people up there playing drums at any given time.
I love the fact that the Finkelstein brothers get involved in this thing.
Awesome players.
Pete Lazos from Pete Mazzio and the Hit Squad.
That's correct.
Just to name a few. I mean, it's it's one of the best all-star lineups you're ever going to see.
We have good players.
To put it mildly, to put it very mildly, I have to say. And this thing has really grown and evolved into this massive, it's like the biggest night of the year for music at Mulcahy's. And 0 advertising, and it's their busiest night of the year. You have like 1,400 plus people in there every year.
Yeah, we crowd them in.
With not a dime of advertising.
Well, there are 300 people between the band, their wives or spouses, the crew.
People that are associated with
it. Yeah, they all get their shirts. They're all part of the band crew. So if we have those 300 people and 2 friends of theirs, and then 2 friends of theirs, we're done.
That's all it takes.
Yeah, we don't need the general public.
That's all it takes. What kind of a beer bill?
Well, the paper bag does buy beer for the band, and we used to drink 80 or 90 cases
80 or 90
on
cases.
stage during the performance.
This 6-hour performance.
Yeah, we're down to between 50 cases now.
Yeah, it's such a, for me, I'm like a kid in a candy shop at this thing every year because all of these great musicians. I go to the rehearsal. I've been an honorary member for, I think this is my 6th year, if I'm not mistaken.
I can look up your permanent record here.
You have my permanent record?
I have your permanent record, exactly. Yeah,
I'm curious to know, is it 5 years? Is it 6 years? How many years have I been an honorary member of
Mark
this thing?
Klein, 6 years, Mark
This is my
Klein.
6th year.
That's right. You're on the Group W bench.
I'm on the Group W bench. Do you want to share with everybody what that means?
Well, it's from Alice's Restaurant.
Alice's Restaurant.
When Arlo Guthrie was being inducted, well, he was at the induction center for the Army, and they told him to go over onto the Group W bench with the mother killers and the father rapers. So that's where you reside.
Yeah, I appreciate that, Mark.
It's a place of honor.
It really is, in all sincerity, it really is. You have a different theme for the paper bag every year, by the way. How do you go about working out? I mean, do you have a team of guys that you plan this thing with every year? How are you going to come up with the themes and what musicians are going to do what songs? Can you walk us through the process? Because there's so much involved in this thing behind the scenes with the planning and the preparation on the set list, which is, 50 songs long?
50 songs usually.
50 songs. It starts it's usually the last Tuesday in June every year at Mulcahy's in Wantaw. 70 musicians, you work out 50 songs, 6 hours of music, and you have
non-stop music. But
non-stop,
we don't stop
no intermissions, no breaks, and you have a different theme every year. Can you walk us through some of the process, who you work with to put the theme together every year, and how the thought process works for the songs you put together every year for this thing?
Well, I have an executive board. The reason this works so well is because I have delegated very well over the years. We have an executive board, 12, 14 of us, who average almost 30 years playing in the bag. We begin meeting in January. In my house, I have a room in the basement, the war room.
The war room, the infamous war room.
And we meet in the war room once a month beginning January. And the themes kind of began around paper bag number 12 or 13. And it's a device. We didn't really plan it to be a device like this. It just started to be just a silly thing to make it more fun. But what that does is that forces us to look outside of our comfort zone in songs. I have 20-something vocalists. If I ask them all, pick your favorite song, saying, then next year they pick their second favorite. And then when we have a theme, this year it's the grocery bag, Bagger's Banquet. So the songs not all, but most of the songs have some sort of food thing. Lady Marmalade, Strawberry Fields, themes from Italian Restaurant, Zoot Suit Riot by the Cherry Poppin' Daddies, the Paul Butterfield Blues Band.
Tremendous.
So when people look for songs, Cinnamon Girl, the lime and the coconut.
You literally have something for everybody.
Well, we come up with a theme. The executive board, we go through every email we got during the year, every Facebook post from customers and band members alike. We have a bunch of themes. We throw them around. We spend 2 months looking at this. And then when we come up with a theme, I ask the vocalists to pick a song they'd like to sing, because they're a little more invested in the song if they selected it. And maybe they'll even learn the words, which is a pet peeve of mine.
Yeah, it's what another thing that I really get a kick out of with this, especially being privy to going to the rehearsal the day before and the day of, the way you run the rehearsal, similar to the way you run the actual show. I'm guessing similar to the way you used to teach your music class.
Middle school is a great training for dealing with rock musicians.
And you've really honed in on that craft nicely, I'd have to say, Mike. The professionalism with the keeping it light, loose, and relaxed, yet a tight ship all in one. You have the ability to basically factor all of those things in the way you conduct this thing and take the reins on this thing every year and run the show. And it's a tremendous. I really get a kick out of the fact that if a musician screws up during the live show, you turn to the audience and say what?
Boo. Well, we stop the song. If
you
they really
you stop everybody.
Yeah, we don't want to pretend that we meant it to be, so we stop and I tell the audience to boo the band, which they do. And then sometimes I'll have them chant, "We paid good money for this." Then I tell them, hold on a second, and we drill it 2 or 3 times. Whatever we stumbled over, we get it right. Then the audience counts the band back in. So I turn and I say, okay, count the band back in, and they all give the big 1, 2, 1, and then we go right from the second chorus or wherever it was. But we don't want to make mistakes.
And as cool as it is that you play such a wide variety of artists to give everyone in the audience something they're going to like, the audience participation has always been a big thing with the show as well, which is kind of cool. I do want to talk real quickly about this year, for example. I'm holding. Is this a pretty accurate list of the artists that are playing?
There you go. There's a right up-to-date list right there.
Just to name a few, I mean, from Todd Rundgren to Patti LaBelle to Steely Dan to the Beatles to Billy Joel to Joe Cocker, Percy Sledge, B.B. King, which I'm glad to see. I'm getting Body Bag.
The Body Bag.
You do a Body Bag segment every year. It's like when all the big award ceremonies, they have the memoriams of who passed away that year. You do a similar thing that's called the Body Bag.
The Body Bag,
which is interesting. Neil Young, Pearl Jam.
Pearl Jam,
of course,
right,
yeah.
Pearl Jam's
the Raspberries, Jimi Hendrix, just to name a few. Little Feat. You do such a wide variety, and with all the singers you've got, with all these great players, you cover all of these artists in such a great fashion, and the people have such a good time at this thing. And like I said, it's Mulcahy's busiest night of the year. A lot of fun. I say we let's do a couple pairs of ticket giveaways. Let's do some ticket giveaways. Let's play a few of the musicians that play at the Paper Bag every year, like Tammi Wolfe.
Tammi Wolfe last year sang Led Zeppelin, she sang a note that started below the basement, and ended up way above It's got a whole lot of love.
She's got a tremendous vocal range. That's the point, obviously, you're making. And she's one of my favorites. She comes and plays for the kids, by the way, at Stony Brook Children's Hospital with me a few times a year with Mike Flint's. You come up there a couple times a year with Santoriello from Cadillac Moon and Little Wilson, who are also going to play. But we'll get back to that later.